name is Abdul Rahman and welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome to a new series called Machine Learning Operations, or you could say MLOps. Now up to this point guys, you have listened a lot about machine learning, artificial intelligence, and I also created a playlist on machine learning with Python where we learned all about machine learning with the Python, and we have created the models, we learned about classification, we learned about the regression, all of those stuff. But here, this is a new playlist called Machine Learning Operations, which is pretty much different from machine learning with Python. Now, in this series, guys, we are going to learn about what is MLOps, like how it is, how it works, why it is used, what is the process of MLOps machine learning operations, and we are also going to learn about DevOps, like what it is, how it works, what is the difference between DevOps and machine learning operations. So basically, MLOps stands for machine learning operations and DevOps stands for development operations. Now, the reason that I am talking about DevOps is development operations is that a lot of people will be confused between the difference between the MLOps and DevOps, and some people will be there who know that who say that MLOps is the DevOps. So here in this video, that's why I'm going to talk about the difference between MLOps and the DevOps. So we are, first of all, in this series, the things that we are going to talk about is we are going to work with the Azure cloud services, and we are also going to talk about what is MLOps, the process of MLOps. We are going to create the pipelines, Azure pipelines using the notebooks. We are going to do that with the designer option. We are also going to talk about what is hyperparameters turning, and we are also going to talk about what is virtualization, what is virtual machine. We learned about somewhat about in the machine learning with Python series. Because of the TensorFlow there, we can't use the TensorFlow on the Windows machine, that's why we have installed virtual machine. So here we learned some about virtual machine. We will be learning about that in this video also. So to begin, I would like to talk about what is machine learning. What is machine learning operations in the simple words? So machine learning operations MLOps refers to the practices and tools used to streamline and automate the development and deployment and the management of the machine learning models at a scale. Now machine learning operations is it's going to develop, deploy and manage the machine learning models. But what the DevOps is going to do is it's going to develop the software. Now there is a lot difference between machine learning models and the software development. Now software development is something that, let's say we have an app called as YouTube that we are using, that you are watching this video on the YouTube. Now here this is an app used for watching videos, whether it is entertainment, whether it is education, all of those stuff. Now we have developed this app using the Python program or any other app. Now this is called as DevOps. Now we are developing here, right? Now what the machine learning model do is it's going to type of artificial intelligence. Now whatever, if I search something, this type of thing, I should get this type of results. Now we can't do that with the DevOps development operations. The reason is that a lot of people will be creating a millions of videos per day. They will be uploading a lot of videos per day. Now if I search something, the results should be not be specific. It should get what the people have given, the tags, all of those stuff. Now in this place, machine learning models is going to work. Now with the machine learning models, what we are doing is we are doing the classification, we are doing the prediction and testing, all of those stuff. That's why machine learning operations is used. Now it also involves integrating machine learning into the software development life cycle using the tools such as version control, continuous integration, continuous delivery, which is also called as CI or CD, and monitoring to ensure that the models are robust, are they working properly or not, and the models are reliable and they're scalable. The goal of the MLOps is to help the organizations to build and deploy machine learning models more quickly and efficiently while maintaining the high levels of quality and the performance. Now we learned about what is MLOps. Now the goal of DevOps is to reduce the time between developing a new feature or application and delivering it to the customers. while improving the quality, reliability, and the security. DevOps is often associated with agile software development, methodologies, and cloud computing, which enable faster and more flexible development and deployment of the software applications. Now let's talk about what's the difference between MLOps and DevOps. Okay, first of all, if we talk about the difference between MLOps and DevOps, let's talk about what's the process of MLOps. If we talk about the process of MLOps in simple words, then the process of MLOps is that our machine learning operations is like a recipe for cooking a delicious meal. So here, if I talk about that in a simple explanation of the MLOps process, the first one is data preparation. Now here, for creating or for training some data, we need a lot of data. It's depend on the application that you are, depending on the model that you are going to create. Now, first of all, we need data preparation. The first step is to gather and prepare the data that will be used to train the machine learning model. This involves cleaning and formatting the data so that it can be easily used by the model. Now here the second is model development. Now once the data is prepared, the machine learning model is developed using a specific set of algorithms and techniques that are appropriate for the problem at the hand. This involves testing that and tuning the model until it is accurate and reliable. Now here we have a large data set and we have to develop the model. Now we are going to develop that using anything such as classification, regression. We can do that anything, but here it's depending on the problem that you are doing. If you want to do that, you can do that with anything. Now the third one is model training. The machine learning model is then trained using the prepared data. This involves feeding the data into the model and adjusting the model's parameters until it learns to make accurate predictions. Now the fourth one is model deployment. We have to deploy the model, right? After the model is trained, it needs to be deployed to a production environment that so that it can be used by the end users but by the other users. This involves setting up infrastructures, deploying the model to the appropriate servers or cloud platforms, and making sure that the model is secure and scalable. Now here what it does is, for example, here we have a chat GPT. Now we have gathered a large data set which is going to have lakhs of lines, right? But here we have to train the model. We have to deploy the model, develop the model, and then train the model. So first of all, we are going to just develop the model with no, we are not training data, but we are just covering here. We are just building here the case, okay? And then here let's say that we have a phone, okay? For that phone we are not giving inputting there anything such as motherboard, all of the stuff. Just we are creating the case for that, and then after that we are going to put all of the things such as the motherboard. Then we are going to put some more things such as camera, charging port, all of those stuff. That is known as model deployment. And then we have trained that. Now whenever we click some button on our phone, if we click the side button, then it should on. If we click the side button, it's going to increase and decrease the volume. But here we have to deploy the model, right? We have to finally close that phone, and then it should we have to test that whether it is working or not. Now the fifth one, you may be thinking the process are finished here. No, there are two more processes. The fifth one is model monitoring. Once the model is deployed, it needs to be continuously monitored to ensure that it is working correctly and providing accurate predictions. This involves setting up alerts and notifications, analyzing performance metrics, and updating the model as needed. Now, for example, we have created that phone and it's working. Now we have deployed that, okay? So we made that phone into working condition. Now we have to monitor that phone, right? Whether it is sending notification when someone calls with another phone, is it able to answer the calls or not, all of the stuff. Now the sixth one is model management. Finally, the machine learning models need to be managed over time as new data becomes available or as the data model needs to update or replaced. Now when the phone is created, when the phone is built, everything is working and the security and everything is working fine. But here we have to make. Now let's talk about what is DevOps. If we talk about DevOps in the simple words, then DevOps is a set of practices and cultural values that aims to unify the software development and the IT operations, which is also called as DevOps, development operations. So it's going to develop operations teams to enable faster and the more reliable software delivery. It also involves using the automation, collaboration, and monitoring tools to streamline the software development life cycle from planning and development to testing, deployment, and the operation. Now, here you may be thinking, what is deployment, testing, all of those stuff. Now, if we talk about that in the machine learning operations, what we are going to do is we are going to train a data, right? Like, for example, OpenAI has created an app known as ChatGPT, which is going to answer each and everything what we say. Now, how it's going to answer that, right? How it will answer? It's going to answer using its data. Now, ChatGPT has been trained on a large data set. That's why it's able to answer our all of the questions. So this is how MLOps is going to do machine learning in the machine learning operations. It's going to happen like that. So we are going to classify that, we are going to test that, we are going to train them, and then test that whether it is working properly or not, and then deploy that on the internet. Like that only for the software development also, we are going to test that is it working properly or not. Now basically in the software development, we don't train a lot of things basically, because here we are doing the software development, we are not storing here the any data, right? So here we are writing the functions, whenever we click something it's going to work like that. That's why here that is the difference between DevOps and the machine learning operations. Now let's talk about the main difference between machine learning operations and the development operations, which is also called as MLOps and DevOps. MLOps and DevOps share some similarities in that they both involve the use of automation, collaboration, and the monitoring tools to improve the software development and the life cycle. However, there are also some key differences between the two. The first one I'm going to talk about is the domain. Development operations. DevOps focuses on software development and the IT operations, whereas MLOps focuses specifically on the machine learning models and the infrastructure needed to support them. Now, as I said you that, I have given the example of a phone. That's how MLOps is going to work. Now, the difference is that development operations team and the machine learning operations team are going to work the same, but in a different way, something new. Now, what the DevOps is going to do is it's going to develop an app. It's going to do something. It's going to develop a website or app. But here, machine learning operations is going to train the data. It's going to create a new model. Now the second comes is the data management. Machine learning operations requires a specialized approach to manage the data sets and the models that are used to train the machine learning models, whereas development operations DevOps generally focuses on managing code configuration files. Now let's talk about the third one, which is the deployment. MLOps requires specialized deployment and monitoring practices for machine learning models, which may involve updating the models over time as the new data becomes available or the models are improved. In the contrast, DevOps focuses on deploying and managing the software applications. Now, as I have taken the example of ChatGPT, now what while building the ChatGPT, while creating the ChatGPT, for building that website, for building that particular website, what they have done is they have used the DevOps development operations team. But while training the data, while giving the information, they have given the MLOps. So they have used the both things, development operations and the machine learning operations. Now let's talk about the fourth one, which is skills. Machine learning operation requires the specialized skills in machine learning, data engineering, and the cloud computing. In addition to the skills needed for the DevOps, in summary, MLOps is specialized form of DevOps that focuses on managing machine learning models in a reliable and the scalable way. So that's what the difference between MLOps and the DevOps. Now, if we talk about the difference between MLOps and the DevOps in some simple words, then DevOps and MLOps are like two different chefs who works in a kitchen to create different types of dishes. DevOps is like a chef who manages all over the kitchen operations and focuses on just making sure the ingredients and the tools are organized and the different cooks can work together to produce the high quality meals quickly. Whereas MLOps, on the other hand, is like specialized chef who is just focused on using specific set of ingredients and tools to make a unique type of dish. Okay, now here what DevOps is doing to is it's going to create the cover of the phone, and the DevOps and the machine learning operations is just going to create the phone. Now here, similarly, DevOps is a set of practices and cultural values that aims to unify the software development and the IT operations teams to enable faster and the more reliable software delivery. So as I said that before also. Now we have talked about that. Now we also talked about the process of ML ops, and now let's talk about what is the difference between the DevOps process and the ML ops process. Now I also talked about that is skills. We just talk about that, right? So in short, if we talk about the process difference between ML ops and DevOps, then in short, the DevOps process is general approach to the software development and the deployment, while the MLOps process is specialized form of DevOps that focuses specifically on managing machine learning models. The machine learning models process requires a different set of skills and the techniques, as well as a specialized approach to managing data and deploying and monitoring the models. So that is what the difference between MLOps and DevOps, and that's what the process of MLOps, the difference between the MLOps process and the DevOps process. So guys, this is all for this video, and this, as I said that this is just the introduction video. From the next video, we will try to implement that with the Azure. We will also talk about what is Azure. We will also talk about what is Azure Cloud Computing, etc. So anyhow guys, that's all for this video. I hope you liked this video and enjoyed watching this video. And don't forget to like, share and subscribe. I will see you all in another tutorial. Thanks for watching. Thank you. Bye.